Hi, my name is Jay Hait. I'm a family law attorney with offices located throughout Israel. And a lot of times people say to me, hey, Mr. Hait, what factors do the Israeli courts consider when they're making custody decisions, right? If you're parents and you're considering divorce, I'm sure that's something that's, you've thought about. Well, when making custody decisions in Israel, the courts consider several factors to determine what type of arrangement would be in the best interest of their child or children, right? And the best interest test is the most important thing. But let's look a little bit deeper. What are the factors that the court's going to consider when they're looking at what are the best interests of the child? So first of all, they take into account the child's age, gender, development level, right? The court's going to consider all of those things when deciding where the child should be most of the time, with the mother or with the father. Another thing that they're going to consider is the kid's physical and emotional and educational needs. And they may also take into account the child's wishes, especially if the child is old enough to express what those wishes are. Another thing that the court will look at is the quality of the relationship between the child and each parent and the extent of the involvement of each parent in the kid's life, right? If dad is working in New York City every week or for 12 days a month, like a lot of people do, and he's flying back for the other days, well, you know what? It's going to be a lot harder in that case to ask or to get primary custody over their child, even though we don't say primary custody anymore. We say parenting. It'll be harder for him to have the majority of parenting. Another thing the court is going to look at doing this best needs analysis is each parent's ability to provide a stable and nurturing home environment to meet the kids' physical and emotional needs and to promote their educational and social development. This is one of the reasons that I always tell people, listen, if you're separating before the social worker has done the evaluation, you should get ready to have a new apartment. A lot of people want to just save money when they split and then they'll get one-room apartment. I tell them, no, listen, you should be getting at least 2 or even a 3-bedroom apartment, depending on how many kids you have, so that the kids have their own area where they can do their schoolwork. They have their own area, for sleeping, etc. Because all of these things may end up being taken into account when the court does their best interest of the child analysis. Also, mental and physical health of each parent, right? That's going to be taken care of, including if there's a history of abuse or neglect or even of substance abuse, right? Also, the court will consider the practicalities of the proposed custody arrangements if you want to reach an agreement. And they're going to look at the proximity of each parent's home and the kid's school and how it influences the child's daily routine, right? In other words, if I'm asking for joint custody, but I plan on moving 40 minutes away from Jerusalem to Tel Aviv, well then, it's going to be a lot less likely that the courts give me that. And of course, there are any other relevant factors that the court can decide to take into account, like relationships with siblings, like their cultural or religious background, special needs, especially, for example, if the family was always religious and now one parent is not religious, well, that's something that the court may decide to take into consideration. But in any case, it's important to note that custody decisions in Israel are made on a case-by-case basis, and the court's decision is depend on the specific facts and circumstances of each case. So even though a lot of people will tell you that the pendulum is swerving now towards joint custody, and that's true. However, you understand that the courts are going to take into account all the things that we spoke about during this video. Again, my name is Jay Hait. My phone number appears on the screen in front of you. And if you have any questions about custody in Israel, then please feel free to pick up the phone and call me.